Ayo, Tits.
Hey, I'm Areolas.
We're doing Subservience. When's the first time you watched this movie?
I just recently saw it. If I had known Megan Fox did a movie where she was a robot, I would have been on it way sooner. What about you?
Also recently. I mean, it did come out recently. It's a
Yeah,
2024 film.
yeah, it
It's
surprised me.
we couldn't watch it anytime sooner than now. So yeah, Megan Fox. She's an android. I guess is she AI or an android?
I think she's AI because they do have, I guess, programs in them. But whenever she does end up fucking getting a hard reset from the owner, it does kind of get its own sentience or something.
I mean, there's a lot to talk about. I'm gonna do it in order. All
All right.
right, so
Mm-hmm.
we got this guy. His name is Nick.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and he has a family. He has a wife she's undergoing some sort of heart surgery, and he has two kids. One is like a 10-year-old daughter, and then a baby boy.
Mm-hmm.
That's the family dynamic we're going here. Classic nuclear family. However, heart surgery plus futuristic technology plus a lot of money somehow. Bro, first of all, how common are these androids where they're cheap? Like a construction worker can buy them. Like people could barely buy food now. How can anyone purchase a freaking android in the future?
I don't. Well, I mean, we get later on to it, but I don't understand how they have androids with like that sentience, and self learning, but they don't have like body parts, like artificial body parts, or better cures in medicine.
Yeah, I don't know. This world isn't really fleshed out.
Hmm.
It feels like the world is in subservience to the plot. Not like it's one story within a bigger world, you know. So
Hmm.
this he's like, I'm gonna go to the mall because malls are still a thing in the future. And he goes to the mall and he's essentially window shopping for androids. And he encounters this one android, and it's
Hmm.
Megan Fox, and she is an advanced model.
Oh yeah, she's advanced, all right.
I mean, her contouring skills are advanced. God damn. How do you contour like that woman?
Only machines, right?
I guess so. Yeah. What do you
But
think of
yeah,
her fit?
I mean, it's a wet dream, I guess. I don't know, like like it's like okay, if I want my sexy maid to dress like that, I guess, you know what I mean? Like,
She's wearing the same thing as Wednesday Adams. You want to know how I know this?
how do you know this?
My outfit that I bought for my Subservience review, I bought it from Spirit Halloween in the Adams Family section, and it was Wednesday Adams.
I completely believe that there's an entire section dedicated to the Adams family. I really that
There's
yeah.
entire sections dedicated to movies that were created like 20 years ago,
Mm,
like Beetlejuice. There was
hmm.
only one sec. Well, this even a few years ago, when it wasn't like huge public knowledge that they were working on a Beetlejuice too, there was a huge section just dedicated to Beetlejuice
Hmm.
and other properties like Harry Potter. I guess Harry Potter's pretty huge,
Hmm.
but it's it's a fun time. Spirit Halloween is a fun time. Not as fun as this movie. Well, I guess it's a little bit more fun actually. This
I
movie
think
isn't
so.
as fun. Yeah.
No, no, this movie. I mean, You
Have you
know,
been to the
and
Spirit Halloween recently?
no, I have not. I heard it's getting a resurgence though, like pretty big time.
Man, Spirit Halloween where I live,
Hmm.
near this time, it is popping. And I'm waiting for November 1st and 2nd, and then they're closed for up until next August. I'm waiting for those 2 dates because there's gonna be discounts. There's gonna be 50% discounts, and I
Hmm.
think 75% discounts. It's crazy.
I thought they were gonna do a Spirit Christmas though, where they were gonna be open for Christmas as well. Or is
Wait,
that not?
really?
That's what I read. I don't know if that's just in particular locations where, but I mean, Christmas is popular everywhere. You know,
Wait,
mostly.
what would they sell at Spirit Christmas? Like
Um,
lingerie?
I guess like those inflatables that you could put outside your yard. They do the same things like for Halloween, right? The
Wait, you can
inflatables and
sell
stuff.
enough of those to have a brick and mortar store?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Ah, I guess I don't really get buying those inflatables. I'm not that I'm not that type of person. Maybe because I'm not like a boomer or I don't own property to do that on. Like
Hmm.
I don't have like I'm not like flush with cash to do that. Like I'm not even 24 yet. I'm almost 24. I guess whenever this comes out I will be 24.
Oh,
Um cuz my birthday is November 1st. But
hell yeah.
like I
Happy
don't
birthday.
understand the need to just spend the money on those inflatables or Halloween decorations outside of stuff I want to put in my sets, like in my photo sets.
Hmm. There's some
I don't
people
know.
that that's all they care about. I know when I was growing up in the small town, we had where we would ride to certain neighborhoods and see all the decorations in someone's house, and their house was just dedicated to being decorated for whatever holiday was going on. You know.
Christmas is great for that. But
Hmm.
also in this house, what's interesting is it's not very decorated, but the other houses are. It's definitely winter time. It's
Hmm.
kind of a indescript time. Did they mention what time of the year it was?
I don't think so. I just know it was cold because they had like snow outside. You know, so it's obviously winter. Would
Very
assume.
wintry.
Hmm.
Uh, what's this is a fun time of a movie because I like seeing Megan Fox as I like to describe as probably the tipping point, or like maybe it's a toss up whether she's in more movies as just a pretty face. You know what I mean? Did you
Yeah.
notice like she was in Transformers a decade ago? And how old was she? She was like in her upper 20s a decade ago.
Yeah, pretty around your age, you know?
Yeah,
Mhm.
that was 10 years ago. Now, actually more than 10 years ago. I remember like the when the Michael Bay Transformers came out. That was late 2000s, early 2010s era,
Mhm.
and that was more than 10 years ago. That was like 15 years ago. So she's like, you know, she could probably be cast as a witch in a horror film in the next 10 years.
A sexy witch though, because
Yeah,
we want our witches sexy now, right?
I wouldn't mind it. Like honestly, if she does some sort of reboot, she's cast for some sort of reboot from like a 90s or 80s property. Like does Bewitched have a reboot, or Sabrina the whatever witch? Forget what it's
Bewitched
called.
had a reboot, not Sabrina the Teenage Witch. No, I don't remember that having a reboot.
I mean, when did that come out? 90s, early 2000s?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think she'd be a little bit too old for that. I don't know actually. Maybe I feel like there's a remake in 2030 and she was teenagers, so she'd be in her 40s or 50s. then she could be a witch. She could be Sabrina.
I mean, they had that back then, right? They had older people playing high school students. They could redo
Yeah.
that. I mean, we don't have any issues with that. I think as an
Ever
audience.
since the internet, I feel like, man, I feel like in the mid like 2010s, all I've seen is just people complaining about how the people portraying teenagers in movies are just are just like adults in their 20s. And they're like, "Oh my goodness, this gave me body dysmorphia because I thought I was supposed to have some cheekbones when I was 15." But I'm like, I you don't get cheekbones until like your late 20s.
People are never happy. I don't know. This is the
Yeah.
internet, man. It's the internet.
Yeah. It's funny. So anyway, we got this android. She's Megan Fox.
Mm-hmm.
She comes
She is.
home to the house. And what's interesting about her is that she's just there, and like as soon as she steps her foot inside the door, right? She's goes from demo mode that you get at the mall to on.
Mm-hmm.
She just starts doing stuff. What do you need help with? What do you need help with, Nick? All right, I'll take care of you kids. All right, I'll do this, I'll do that. And what would you feel if you got a little guy, little android dude or chick or whatever, and it would just start doing stuff? How would you feel?
I'd feel awkward. Like I at first, it seems like this dude is used to doing everything himself, so it's a bit strange to have like a third party doing it because
Yeah.
you don't know if you want to trust them. But at the same time, why the fuck did we even buy it or pay for it? If you're not gonna have it do shit
Right.
for you.
Yeah, I feel like I got the sense that he was weirded out, a little
Hmm.
awkward, like you mentioned. Um, I think I don't know how long he's been doing stuff by himself, and his wife was there. And this is probably is this the first time his wife has had to go to the hospital? Or I'm thinking maybe they justified the price of getting an android, however much it costs. Um, I think they justified the price because they've had to go to the hospital a lot. Like
Hmm.
she's finding a donor heart. She's in this process, so I think it's assumed there's a presumption that she's been waiting at the doctor's office and has gone there multiple times to get this diagnosis, and then okay, what's the next steps? What's the next steps? You gotta do everything in the steps at the doctor's offices instead of like bulk. So I assume there's been a lot of appointments, but why are they getting the robot now?
I mean, yeah, I would assume too that like she's been in the hospital for at least a month because she's having to need this transplant of a heart, which is pretty much your main organ, right? You can't do shit without the
Yeah,
heart.
yeah.
So it's better to monitor her there at all times so they're not bringing her back and forth. And it sounds like they're keeping her alive there too, without or like with her original heart still in her, because time is of the essence, but at the same time they're still able to wait. It's not like, oh man, we need it right now.
What's interesting is that in the movie, the course of the movie, she has to pass up on two hearts, and then the third heart is the good one. And I'm like, why did they pass up on the heart? Is it because other people needed it first? It makes me wonder, yeah, if it's not a very bad disease, if it's not progressed that far. But she needs a heart. Don't you
Hmm.
need a heart if you're like really far along to the point where you can't function with your current heart? Because getting an organ is pretty expensive. Like,
That's
there's a
what
whole black market for it.
that's what trips me out too. Is like he's this fool is like a construction worker foreman or whatever. The husband, he's able to afford an android. He's able to afford them living wherever, their health insurance that could keep her in the hospital for however long, and the heart transplant in like a good amount of time. Like he must he must have really good insurance and get paid pretty decently.
I think he must be really high up on the
Hmm.
construction hierarchy because there's people around him that are being replaced by AI workers,
Hmm.
Android workers. Uh, and then it's also mentioned some point, I forget when exactly, but I remember that all the jobs except for like construction workers, they're being replaced. Well, I guess it's like the order, the it's more so like the order of replacing people in society, like fast food workers first, then like other different jobs being
Yeah.
replaced by uh androids and whatever. It's like an order. And I
Hmm.
guess construction worker, his position as a construction worker is so needed to be a human that he stays employed and he gets paid a lot.
Hmm.
It makes me wonder, like, what exactly does he do?
He's almost, I want to say, an architect too. Doesn't it show him like drawing at like one of those
Yeah,
slanted tables at a point, I think in his home.
yeah, that's called an easel.
Yeah, he might be an architect of some sort, and maybe they're still needed, the architects, the people who design the buildings, even though I'm sure AI is fully capable of doing that, or a robot, you know.
Yeah, wouldn't a robot be able to? I mean, I don't know if they could do the artistry part as well as figuring out uh load load bearing stuff. You
Hmm.
know how that works. Uh, just like the structural integrity of the
There's a
building.
balance to it. There's a balance to it
Yeah,
of artisticness and the strength of a building, I guess, you know.
yeah. So I don't know. And I'm just like thinking, okay, so there's more and more people getting replaced by androids. I do like how it shows that there's a job market, very skilled labor job market. Um, that the more and more androids are out there, the more and more that you'll have to have this education on how to repair an android, which will make the barrier of entry lower, which will make it so people get paid less, I guess. It'll become like a common skill in the future. I don't know. I just think about things like, okay, what potential impact did this have long
Mhm.
term?
I
And I
do
don't.
I do think though you are giving this movie a lot of credit, because I don't think it rabbit holes that much into it, because really this movie's just about, I guess, Megan Fox being a sexy robot and turning kind of sentient evil and basically becoming like a jealous girlfriend to the husband, right?
Yeah, I wish there was a movie that took. Are there any movies that explore these ideas that I have? Because I'm more interested
Yeah.
in what I just mentioned, what questions I proposed, than oh wow, the android is acting human. What's the line between human and android? You don't know because it really wants to have sex with Nick and basically forces itself upon him. He's like, no, and then she's like, you're going to do it because it helps you. And then he has the sex, and then he go come, and then he go, relax now. But that's like the physical thing. It's physical stuff. I
Hmm.
feel like robots are good at like physical stuff, but when it comes to the emotional, like, yo, I just had sex with a robot, and now my wife's gonna get mad at me, and like, mm, I don't think you should care Why should she care? Why does she care? It's essentially having sex with. It's using a vibrator. If
Mm-hmm.
she used a
Mm-hmm.
vibrator, it's the same thing. It's essentially a fleshlight that does your chores. Okay?
That was my thought exactly too. And he makes that point too. He's like, I don't ever talk shit when you have sex with a vibrator. That it's pretty much the same thing. Just making a mountain out of a molehill. Like, dude, I just fucked the robot I bought. What's wrong with that? You know?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many benefits too.
Yeah.
I think she just wants to have a fight with him because she feels because it looks like a human and
Mm-hmm.
it does the chores. And even she's like, "Oh my goodness, I can't even take care of my child now because she's doing the chores for me." So what is it? What's the point? And I do like how the movie kind of has that as an undertone. It doesn't say it directly, but it's like, well, it's taking the job, the tasks. What are you going to do now? Just what? Sit around, get fat?
Yeah. You're less of a wife and mother because I'm around, basically.
I really think all of those feelings about the doll, a doll. It's an android, but it's also a sex doll. It could be.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Oh yeah.
anyway, all of those feelings about the android is all getting packaged up, and then in that moment when she hears, "Oh, I had sex with it," she's like, "What the fuck is my purpose then being here?" Is what she means to say, but she doesn't.
Mm-mm.
She's so focused on him having sex with the android because I don't think she's she's not in that in touch with herself. I didn't get that vibe. She's like, "Oh my goodness, I'm so bad about this one thing," but I'm like, "No, it's other things also impacting this one thing. You're just irrationally mad about him having sex with the robot. If it was just that one thing alone, it's a it's a it's a it's not a person."
Mm-hmm. No, it's a thing. It's a
Yeah, it's
thing.
a thing. Except for she alters her code. I don't know how you could do that. Who gave her admin privileges? Did she hack herself? What
Yeah,
is going on?
I think whenever he did that hard reset, whenever he was like, "Hey, come watch what was it, Casablanca or Gone with the Wind with
Yeah.
him," and he gave her that hard reset, it like fucked with her code and gave her that like way to like not change her code in her head but work around her things, you know?
That's bad designing on behalf of the coders because
Mhm.
they didn't predict that they would need to be a hard reset ever. And because if you I'm going to hold the power button for 30 seconds. You never thought, "Oh, well, that should just be like, oh, you hard reset it, you clear the cache, and then it just the cache of the memory, whatever, electronics. And then when you press on again, it does like a nice new fresh restart. It does a nice
Mhm.
new brand new. But that shouldn't change the code.
Mm-mm.
That
Mm.
should not happen. That's fucking Hollywood writers not knowing how technology works. I don't know how technology works down to the nitty gritty, but like I understand the concepts behind some stuff. Or at least if you're writing a movie about androids, you should look into what everything means. Not like, oh, I should know what like every byte does on the mother drive, whatever motherboard on which hard drive, I don't know. Just know some basics. Just know some basics cuz everything if you reduce it down to things, there's like there's a concept to everything underneath it that is reductionist, and there's like a firm foundation to every single thing, and then nuances from there depending on the topic and
Hmm.
like different executions. But there's always like there's always a underlying idea. Ah,
Well, the whole idea of turning a device back on and back off and back on is like the simplest of troubleshooting for any device, and
yeah,
for that to be the way to exploit for this Android to exploit its code is pretty ridiculous because it's like, oh, I'm gonna get this thing wet or fuck it too hard and it stops working for a little bit. I'm gonna turn it off and back on.
yeah. So of course, this is where the I want to say this is where because there are there's a lot of points in the progression of this movie and like, well, I wouldn't have done that, but I guess this exists now. But the underlying idea, the underlying concept is cool. The execution is not so much. So of course, there's this guy who Nick is friends with, and he had to get fired and be replaced with androids, and
Hmm.
so he's drinking, right? And he's drunkenly hanging out with Nick, or he goes over to his porch and hangs out, and they're having a time. And then he start having a discussion because it's so cold outside. They start having a heated discussion. Badum ching.
They do. It is very heated and cold.
Yeah, and they start shoving each other, and then they gotta cool off.
Hmm.
But we got a freaking android, Megan Fox android. Who gives a shit what her actual name is? I just call her Megan Fox.
Yeah, I don't remember what her name is. Doesn't matter.
so, so so we got Megan Fox is like that guy is a threat.
Hmm.
I'm gonna go over to his house, past the altercation. I'm gonna go to his house, and I'm going to bring a gun. And so she has a gun, and her plan is to shoot this dude because she's trying to protect her primary user. And I'm like, stop with this nonsense. This isn't logical. Is there really not a clause in an android's thinking where you can detach, like, in the whole timeline of
Hmm.
time, in the whole existence, there are situations, there are little pockets in times, and understanding when a situation like a scene, it's like a scene in a movie.
Hmm.
Whenever altercation happens, you got to know when something happens, starts and ends, and you got to know whether some like an action you're going to do is going to continue that scene happening. But it does. The freaking android doesn't understand this. When it's like, oh my goodness, that thing happened. Yeah, that means that I must do an action to prevent this from happening in the future. Not thinking, oh, well, the heated situation is done for. It's gone. I don't need to do anything.
Yeah,
There's no immediate threat.
it's thinking in the simplest of terms, which is very odd for a system of such high caliber, right? You would think this Android has high enough systems to think ahead of itself with its actions, but all it cares about is, hey, let me just kill this dude, and that'll take care of everything. That's it.
That because it's not able to think so complexly like a human can. That is why androids cannot take over humanity. There must be humans. Like, this is why I'm not scared about AI at all. It's a tool just like anything else.
Well, they can't
So,
handle captchas. Like they don't know when there's a bicycle in the fucking picture frame or whatever.
exactly. So,
Mm.
she goes over there, she go pew, and then there's also an android at this dude's place, and she's a little scratched up, peeling whatever, and she's like, "I'm gonna get you too, pew."
That was kind of
And
sad for a little bit.
I mean, it's all right. I mean, she's doing this all in the name to protect Nick, and
Hmm.
I'm like, okay, this is about the start of Act 3. Like this scene ends Act 2. Right.
Hmm.
And it's like,
Hmm.
okay, she hasn't done anything wrong. Like there's no reason to justify getting rid of this doll. But then I keep calling it a doll because that's what it is.
That's
But they
pretty
keep
much,
treating
yeah.
but they keep treating it like it's a person.
Hmm.
So then I feel like the writers were like, we're in Act 3. Shit. We gotta resolve this. She has to be the bad guy. And so she comes home and she starts giving the little baby boy a bath, but
Hmm.
like locks the door behind her. Um, but she's also doing like deliberate acts of sabotage in like the end of Act 2. Like she loosens the banister, and the wife, when she comes home, she like slips and falls and injures herself
Hmm.
while playing with the little child. And I'm like, oh boy. There are signs that she's turning, but it's because she's directly jealous of the wife. So I'm like, I'm thinking, okay, you just are just going to injure the wife, but like injuring the baby, that's
Yeah.
too far. But it also feels like it comes out of nowhere.
I mean, there's very little like what is it called? Speak of it. Like, of course, the when it was crying, the baby, the husband, Nick was like, "Oh, you little, noisy machine, you little noisy beast," or so. He said something like along the lines of that. You little nuisance, like as a joke, and the robot obviously took it as like serious, like, "Oh, you're not gonna be a nuisance anymore," and it's just like, okay, that's a throwaway line, but sure, take that for what it is. You want to kill this baby now.
I feel like if you're going to use that, if you're going to use that, you should make it more significant
Hmm.
to the to like exact like how do I explain it? Like you say it and then you pan to the robot and it's like nuisance. The baby's a nuisance. You like repeat it a couple of times, like have it repeated in her head or whatever.
Hmm.
Or
Better foreshadowing, yeah, for sure.
yeah, you got to foreshadow it. Like I
Yeah,
feel like that wasn't like set up. I feel like I mean I mean it was, but it wasn't cleanly distinctly set up.
I do at
So,
least like that she, like her programming wouldn't let her kill the baby, like just kill it. So she had to put it in the bathtub and let the water drown it, and basically justify it by saying, "Oh, babies drown all the time," like as if her brain wouldn't let her kill the baby just instantly. You know what I mean? So I at least
yeah.
like that.
I do also like how the mom, she's like, I'm gonna climb on the roof and then I'm gonna climb into the window next to the bathroom. And then she goes in and then also you would think this this dude, why doesn't he just kick the what is it called? With the doorknob? Just kick the doorknob. Like really. It's
Yeah,
actually the weakest part of the door is the doorknob. Uh if you have old doors, the doorknob is is just a little piece of metal in between like this whole like the door's kind of hollow-ish at the doorknob part, and then you got like this little piece of metal, and then two little knobs put on both sides of the doorknob, and you push it together with pressure.
yeah.
Right, but if you kick at that enough, it will fall apart, and then you have an open door. Okay, that's
Especially a bathroom door. It's not like the front door or back door where like you would want that like extra barrier, stronger sort of thing because it's a
oh
entrance
yeah.
or an exit. It's a bathroom door.
So yeah, there's easy ways to do that. get in there. But also, like, it depends on which type of lock you have. Like, I feel like they had like those modern locks where you either like have it so you have like that knobby twist, or one of those push. Either way,
Mm,
both of those you can subvert. You take like a butter knife, you open it from the outside, and boom, you open it. Or you
mhm,
take like a paper clip, and if you have like a little hole, and you find a mechanism to push it, and then you open it. Like
mhm,
those things, you can easily open. Okay, there are
mhm.
many ways to open these doors, but kicking at the middle of the door is the most time-consuming way to get at these doors. I mean, to get into the bathroom, but with the door in the way. Like, oh my goodness. Don't you have a gun? Shoot at the door.
In any event, the mother who has just had heart surgery, replaced her heart, was able to climb through a snowy window onto the roof and go and face this android that
I just think
is
it was motherly instincts. I was like, man,
okay.
those are some great motherly instincts.
I didn't think of that.
Because
You're right.
she also commented how like she feels better now that she has the replacement heart. So there's
Mm,
that too. But I just think it's like the stitches is the
hmm.
reason why you'd want to like stay bedridden, because you don't want the stitches to open.
Yeah. No, you're right.
So,
Motherly
yeah.
instincts. You're right.
Yeah. So now they're trying to defeat this, and they do, and then they send it off to the research facility or whatever,
Hmm.
and then we got those technicians, and you hook this particular machine up to all the databases, and then her information is gonna get got all over the place. She's gonna send it all over, but luckily they turn it off before she can upload it to the cloud. But we got another robot there, and that turns into uh Megan Fox 2.0 with a blonde wig, and then we
Hmm.
got the other one is just like there. And honestly, because of the way that it is filmed, I didn't expect there to be two robots. I only expected one robot. But it's like, oh, so this one came from this one. Okay, that makes sense. But if you showed with the light turning on that one,
Hmm.
then that would just like do one more thing, and then that would make it clear. But then we got two of them, and they're going to Nick, and it's like, we're going to get you, Nick. You should have left your current wife and your family and should have gone with me. Urgh.
I just wanted to make you happy, or I don't know what she justified it in a creepy ex girlfriend way.
Why aren't there more stories about this model doing the thing that is that she's doing to Nick? I swear there would be more things happening, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. This cannot be the first time this has happened as an incident. No.
And then do they just like chop her up? They
Yeah,
chop her up
so
at the end, right?
they're they're at the hospital and they're what he like crashes his car into her and they just like beat the shit out of it pretty much until it like Terminator style until it's like nothing.
Yeah, and then you got some dudes. They're investigating the technician lab, and then some doofus
The internet
turns on to the internet, and then uploads the data to every single thing. What?
and then
Every
there's a
single thing,
mhm.
everything in the network of the bots. I'm like, how the fuck? Why? Why is this a feature? This is why humans are superior, because humans, you can't just upload some information that overrides previous information that I've learned. You can't just do that to my brain.
I just don't understand why there wouldn't be some sort of kill switch or safeguard to this very problem. Like there's got to be in this universe movies that foretold like Terminator, where it's like AI is a bad idea. They can turn against us. You know what I mean? Like you're telling me nowhere in this universe someone was like, maybe these robots turn on us. Nah, don't
Has
worry
nobody
about it.
seen Terminator?
I was telling you.
Has nobody seen Terminator? Everyone's like, "Oh, I seen Terminator. We should make that actually." No. So what would you give this movie?
With the sexy Megan Fox, maybe a four. It was you know, yeah, she's hot. You know, you could see her kind of like half naked at times, but that's about it. I would say maybe a four. And then that cliffhanger ending is like, okay, do we really need that? Do we need a part two? You know?
No, I hope they don't make one. It's a 5. It's whatever. The idea is good. The execution is not so much. And there's some definite plot holes, but overall the structure underneath it's all right. It's just some things could have been changed and it would have made a better story.
No, definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
And we have a quick game here. Let me see. Where is? Let me add my files here.
Games are
This is
fun.
this is called Mega Man 2. I don't know if you know of Mega Man. Do you know Mega Man?
Yeah, I know who Mega Man is.
Okay, well, it's basically the same storyline. Mega Man, you know, you have these robots that are turned evil by Dr. Wily, and he has to try to defeat the evil robots and take their powers. So in Mega Man 2, the video game, he has different enemies, and they're called something man. Example, I'm going to show you here. This is an enemy from Mega Man 1, and his name is Cutman.
Cut Man.
And you can kind of see why his name's Cutman, right?
Yeah, he's got scissors on his head.
Yeah, that's basically it. So I'm going to show you the enemies from Mega Man 2, and you try to give me their names. So
All
let,
right.
let's go to the first dude.
Sawman.
No, close though.
Blade Man.
No. This one's kind of
Uh
tricky. This one's kind of generic. I don't know why. This one will throw you off.
Razor Man.
What is he made of?
He's made of metal, man.
Yep, his name's Metal Man.
What the fuck?
I don't know why. All of them are made of metal. I don't know why he is specifically Metal Man. Uh, this one
A vacuum man.
close. What do
Suck
vacuum?
man. 2 C's.
What is with two C's? What is he blowing out?
Blowing out? Oh, airman.
Yeah, Airman. This is
Oh,
Airman.
I thought he's sucking in.
I think he's simultaneously sucking it and blowing out with two
That's not
C's.
clear.
Do you know who this is?
Ocean man. Ocean man.
What is what do fish breathe in? Is that right?
Oxygen.
No. What do they blow out?
Water.
What does get created in the water? The little round things.
Bubble? What? Bubble man?
Yep, Bubble Man.
Oh.
This is Mega Man 2, I'm telling you. Do you know who this is?
Um Birdman.
That'd be kind of funny. No, I'm gonna give you this one because this is weird. Quick Man.
Quick man?
Yeah, Quick Man.
Man, they suck at design. Oh
Who
my
is this one?
Drill man.
You would think. No, this isn't. This is so weird. I don't know why his name is this. What do you? How do I say this? What happens when two cars collide?
Collision.
What happens when a car collides into a wall? What is it called?
Crash.
Uh huh.
Crash man.
This is Crash Man.
Why is he no crash? What? Wait,
I-
why?
Because I guess he crashes things with his drills. I don't know. Do you know who
Naming's
this
not their
is?
forte.
Uh, what happens when a person is naked and they show themselves out in public?
Erection man.
He is a Flash Man.
Oh, Flash man.
Yeah, he's flashing. He's a Flash Man.
Wait, why is he Flash? Because he's like a light bulb?
I think so. Because of the light. I
Oh,
think he's a
why
pretty
isn't
weak.
he glowing?
Do you know who this is?
Fireman.
Close. It's another word for hot.
Ember man.
No.
Another word for hot. Hot man. Hot dog.
This is Heat Man.
Heat man. Oh.
Uh-huh. Yeah, no, these are
Endothermic man.
last
Exothermic, whatever one it is.
last one.
Log man.
Close.
Tree man.
Even closer. Let's go simpler.
Birch man.
Mm-mm.
Elk man.
Very simple.
Oak man. Spruce man.
This is Wood Man.
Mahogany man.
This is
I'm trying
Wood
to think
Man.
of the
He's-
tree names in Minecraft at this point. Archwood man. There we go. A wood man.
This is Wood Man. Wood Man.
Oh.
And yeah, that's the end of that game. And I would say, I would, man, with your
Do you want
website.
some wood of your own? Well, go to autisticboobs.com.
There we go.
Also, I do daily movie reviews every day. YouTube.com/ASC Presents. That's where you can
Awesome.
find me.
I would, man. That's what I would do with that wood.
Nice.
And yeah, you can find That's All Funny, where podcast available to That's All Funny, That's All Kayfabe every Mondays, and this great show, Tits and Areolas with the One Woman Salad, every Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. I want to thank you all for watching, listening, and don't fuck with robots. Everyone stay safe. Take care.
Fuck
Bye.
them up. Don't get them.